three. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
All right, everybody, welcome to Teaching Crypto. New week means new opportunity. Welcome to everybody. Please don't forget to hit that like, bell notification, and most importantly, that subscribe button. That greatly helps us out. So if you haven't done so, take a pause right now, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for all your support. MrFOMO, more of bad Voyager news. Luckily, a lot of people have gotten their funds now. Some people are still waiting, but there was a data breach. And it comes out now that it was, in fact, Kirkland and Ellis that was responsible. Unbelievable here. Just when you think you have seen it all, something like this happens.
I wonder how much they're gonna bill us for cleaning up this mess, right? Like, how many hours are they going to have to put in cleaning up all the damage that's done by this data breach? And I'm sure that they'll find a way to bill the creditor somehow for this one.
Well, I mean, they should be giving the creditor back money. Will that happen? I'm not holding my breath, but just absolutely ridiculous. The amount of fees that they have charged, the amount of money that they made, and they haven't even been responsible enough to keep the data and information. You're talking about phone records. You're talking about email addresses. You're talking about how much each person had the account. That's very valuable. Here we were thinking it was Binance or Voyager. No, it were the lawyers that dropped the ball. And you got to think that this story's not over here.
No, this story's definitely not over. I mean, your data has huge amounts of value, not just to criminals, but to companies out there. Companies pay through the nose to get access to your data. And so, knowing that this company was just playing fast and loose with something that valuable and that important to people is, this firm anyway, it's just very disconcerting. And it makes you wonder where your personal information is now.
Yeah, look, I would hope they would do the right thing and, one, apologize first, and second, give back some funds. I mean, obviously, every 20 million is only 1%, and we are waiting. In fact, it looks like October is going to be the Alameda FTX. If it does end up happening now, looks like we're looking at mid-October as finally we have a timeline. I'm not too optimistic that's going to go quickly. If it ends up in trial, that's going to be several months. So that would be the big next distribution, but I wouldn't count on it. If you're still waiting for funds, remember, check your email. A lot of people got emails last week saying that they were on their way of getting it back. So just be patient.
You're going well beyond the 10-day waiting period that they claimed that there was. And originally, I think some of the emails said 3 to 7 days. And so this is just, it really screams of a lot of people who really don't know what they're doing, who aren't, they're really not trying to get this done for us in any way, shape, or form, right? Like, at the end of the day, what does this do for Kirkland and Ellis as a law firm, as far as publicity, as far as, their reputation across across, the country? They have really hurt the Voyager customers here, and they're also representing Celsius customers. Am I mistaken, or FTX customers or something like that?
Well, not really. They're customers. They're representing more the people behind it.
So they're also involved in the other ones too. So this gives you an inside look into what they're planning to do with the next couple of groups that they're going to be handling as well. And so this is, it's rough for us. But if I'm in FTX or Celsius and I'm waiting on my situation to pan out and waiting on my distributions, this can't be a good sign that the people working for, the debtors are, just losing things.
Mm-hmm.
And it really screams of people who just don't know what they're doing, and it screams of a system that is not out to protect the creditors at all.
Yeah, it's not. The only winners in Chapter 11, unfortunately, are the lawyers.
The lawyers.
And that's it. And that's the sad part. And so hopefully, we get more information in October about this mediation. October is a long ways away. We're still we haven't even hit mid-July. So that's long. We'll keep you updated, guys. But in terms of initial distribution, this is going to be it at least for several months for Voyager customers. I did want to talk about something positive, Mr. FOMO, and that is Bitcoin. Now, a lot of people are getting bored with the action. So if you zoom out, it was only 2 weeks ago, we went from 25 to 30, right? But look at this, Mr. FOMO. This was recently tweeted as early as this morning, and it's from Watcher Guru. Justin, 820 billion. Standard Chartered Bank predict Bitcoin will hit 120,000 by the 2024. Do I think this is going to happen? Honestly, I do not. But here's what I really believe, and I'd be shocked if I was wrong. Wouldn't be the first time I'd be shocked. We're not staying at 30K for the rest of the year. Yes, like we've talked about, there may be a bit of a dip down to 28 or 29. I don't think much more than that. But Mr. FOMO, it's hard to see Bitcoin staying under 40K at some point this year. It really is. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here, but there's just, it seems like eventually the selling pressure is going to die off, and more people are going to buy by the end of the summer, or by, I would say, closer to the end of this month. And the reason is we're just getting closer to the halving. Just the reality. We'll talk about halvings a little bit with Litecoin as well, but I just think this is inevitability unless there's some really, really bad black swan event. But even if all these rumors are true about Binance and they are in trouble, I still don't think that's going to stop Bitcoin over the next several months.
It'll always go up and down, but Bitcoin, just when you think what it's going to do, it does something totally opposite. So I could see it. I could see a black swan event. I could see somebody, Elon Musk, tweeting something dumb, and we get a huge capitulation. That could happen, but you're right. I think towards the end of the summer, I think you'll see people coming back in to reinvest. And I really think, I'm always the skeptic. So I think that towards the end of the fall, like we said, 6 months before and 18 months after the halving event, I think towards September, October, you'll actually see more people coming in because of those timelines and because of what's happened in the past. But I certainly think the smart money will be coming in here during the summer while the price is still low, before more and more people are getting in. But I hate predictions, so I'm not going to predict a price.
Don't make a prediction.
I would say by the end of the year, we should definitely see 40,000 as we approach that halving event in April of next year. So it's cyclical, it's predictable somewhat. It doesn't go straight up, but confidence from this zone to 120, I don't know. I think you'll have some huge psychological levels in there along the way. So you're going to see it bouncing on its way up. But, I've seen some other predictions that said something like 760,000 by the end of the next bull run. And the way that the market cap would have to expand, over a short period of time would just be, I think
that's aggressive, right?
I would welcome that kind of expansion, but I would also assume that a lot of that money would also find its way into, these 20 or 30,000 other altcoins that are out there. We talk a lot about the dilution of the market and all these other coins coming in. I just don't think you'll see that kind of exponential growth in Bitcoin, because a lot of that money will be speculating in other spots with a lot lower market caps. But I certainly think Bitcoin could probably get to 100, 120K through the next bull run if everything goes right.
Yeah, and I kind of like the 90K number to be conservative for the next bull run.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what I was saying with psychological levels. You have a huge one there at 100,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at that kind of stuff, I'd say that I would have a hard time believing that in the next run, after only getting to almost 60 or almost 70,000 this last time, that it would struggle to nearly double that in the next bull run. I think you're going to have that. You're going to bump heads with that ceiling of 100K for quite a long time if it gets that high.
But what's going to happen, guys, is, and if you're new, a lot of people will take their Bitcoin profits and put them into the alts. So you're going to slowly see some of these alts go up. And you saw over the weekend, it didn't hold, but you saw one that we've been heavy on for a while for this next cycle, Avalanche, make a nice run from the high 12s into $14 range now. It's come back a little bit, but that's just an example of how quickly things can change.
Yeah. And, you bring up a good point. So I'm trying to find the current Bitcoin dominance is around 50%. And so traditionally you'd like to see Bitcoin dominance grow to somewhere between 70 to 75%. And then in there, you'll start to see those profits from Bitcoin rolling into the altcoins. And that's what we call our altcoin season, where you can see exponential gains in those small market cap altcoins, even those meme coins that are, sometimes absolutely worthless. But that's what you're going to look for, that's why Bitcoin dominance is such an important thing to look at, is because it can give you that idea of when people will start selling off. And traditionally, that's around 70 to 75% Bitcoin dominance in the market. People are going to take their profits and move it somewhere else. And then you'll see that Bitcoin dominance fall quite a bit. And then it's time to exit the market. But there are a lot of indicators, and that's not the only one to look at. But that's a great point that you bring up, and a great indicator to be watchful of as we move into the bull market and beyond. Because some of those things are really good indicators to kind of give you an idea. That, along with the fear and greed index and some other things, will give you some great ideas when to enter and exit the market.
Yeah, and you can't time it perfectly. I think we have to keep talking about that, because people think, well, if I sell too early, I'll be disappointed. No, you won't be. It's when you wait and the profits go away. And, one of the things we want to talk about, and this is a mistake a lot of people make, they'll see Bitcoin hit 40 and they'll rush to buy. Like with the excitement, you buy when things are boring, when things aren't moving. It hasn't moved for almost a week and a half. When it becomes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's when you buy. So you look at something like right now, we got a halving coming up. We've talked about this a lot in the show, Litecoin halving. And Litecoin hit 114 about 10 days ago. It's trading at 95. Actually, you could have gotten it right below 92 very late last night if you were up very early in the morning. Now, we want to be completely honest with our audience. We are both going to be looking at taking profits on Litecoin before the beginning of August, because that's when the halving is. And we're both looking for another pump coming in. And I saw today, for the first time in a couple of days, MrFOMO, that the volume increased. So that might be a sign, not financial advice, that we're within days of maybe another pump.
We could be very close. And like you said, I think it's something you said on previous shows too, is 3 or 3.5 weeks prior to the halving event for Litecoin, you see, some dramatic price action. And that's the history. Like we said, history doesn't always repeat itself. So don't get too crazy on it. But
there is
I bought some Litecoin.
Good.
And the reason I knew that Litecoin was going to go down in price is because I pulled the trigger and bought it. So I bought somewhere around 96. And so it promptly, over the next 24 hours, dropped to 92. So I think my shorts from now on are going to be, every time I make a buy, I'll jump on and say, hey, I just bought some of this. So, you wait about 24 hours, you're going to get a 10% discount.
So just to be clear, the current reward for Litecoin is 12.5. And after the halving, the block reward will go down to 6.25. And so I think, just even before that happens, we talk about hype in crypto. We are 22 days away, MrFOMO. So tomorrow will be 3 weeks. August 1st is the date. So, guys, we can't be your financial advisors. We're not those people. But just have that date in mind. If you are in Litecoin and it does pump, don't assume that there's going to be several afterwards. I do think over the long run, it's going to get well over 100 for this next cycle. But, our strategy has been, in terms of recovering what has been lost on Voyager, take the profits. So if you got in luckily last night in the low 90s and it does hit 125, 130, even 140 over the next couple of weeks, don't hesitate to take those profits.
Yeah, if you're not taking profits, you're not making money, right? And you're just gamifying investments without the payoff. And so make sure that you're paying yourself for the time and research, and all the effort that you put into this, because that's that's the payoff, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's not just the knowledge you gain from it. The knowledge should lead to money in the bank. You know, you're going to have some people say, well, you're going to pay huge amounts of capital gains taxes. Great. If I'm paying capital gains taxes, that means I'm making money, right? So
That's
make
much
that
better
money.
than being stuck in bankruptcy and losing the money. So
Right. And you brought up a good point, and I will say this. You know, Litecoin is one of those OG cryptos. It's been around forever. It's digital silver, according to the people who are Litecoin maxis. You know, so going into the bull run, you are going to see Litecoin run again. Like going into the Bitcoin halving, you are going to see it run again. And so you may see some price action here and then a fall off, and then you might be able to pick it up again, because Litecoin's not going away. Let's face that. But it does have a pretty big market cap. So
it does.
limit
7 billion.
your expectations as far as your gains. Don't expect this thing to give you 10, 20,
No,
30,
that's not what this
40x,
is. That's
right?
not what this is.
Right.
But it's
Get
not
your percentages, build up your, you know, your gunpowder, and then fill those cannons with some other things as we approach. As we find more dips in the market, you can go and refill your cannons and be ready for the next.
But I just wanted to say this really quickly. It's not just what you buy, and we talked about this a long time ago. It's when you buy, right? So buying at 114 probably wasn't the best, but now buying at 90, it's a very different thing, right? If you bought Bitcoin at 15K in December, yes, buying Bitcoin now is good, but buying Bitcoin back then was great. If you bought Litecoin a year ago at 40 and you wrote it up, well, probably you should have taken profits by now. That was a nice profit. But again, very different than buying. Buying now is good, buying back then. And you can't time it, guys. It's just impossible. And we'll try to help you guys out as much as we can. And we're helping each other out. But Mr. FOMO, I just wanted to say something really quickly. Daily volume is up today. As of right now, 73%. The daily volume just hit 674 million. So yes, it is a $7 billion.
What is that versus the market cap, though?
It's the market cap $7 billion. That's a lot of money still.
And so when we look at it, I like to see somewhere around 10% or beyond when it's versus the market cap to judge whether or not it's really running. But that kind of volume, when you look at some of these other cryptos, you're not going to see that kind of volume. You know, I'm gonna put a Jasmy video out here just by comparison, not saying anything negative necessarily about Jasmy, but Jasmy's not seeing that type of volume, right? You're not seeing that type of money moving in and out of it. And so, you know, what is your expectation for something that's that low?
And again, the price targets we're giving you are estimates. It's the best we can do. We're not. I wish we had a crystal ball. We wouldn't even need to do much, but that's just not reality. We do the best we can, and we hope we can help you guys out as much as possible. That Jasmy video will be great for our audience. It's another token that people have asked for that they should look into, and you're going to do more and more of those as the summer goes on.
It's an interesting idea. I really think that you guys should tune in. The idea behind it is interesting. The team behind it is interesting. So if you ever wanted to take a look at Jasmy, check out that video a little later today.
Yeah, and remember, guys, the more you guys hit that subscribe button, the more content we can get out to you. It greatly, greatly helps us out. And slowly but surely, some pretty cool gear is coming. Mr. FOMO just give me the heads up, and I will try to put that out. Guys, look for us on short, look for us on here, and we will try to ramp it up. Once again, thank you so much to all of you. You guys have a wonderful day, and we will see you tomorrow.
See you.